Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be unpacking The Mortal Realms Issue 6. Here we go, here's Issue 6 of The Mortal Realms, and I picked this up as a back issue on the Hatchet Partworks website. You may also find it on another website called forbiddenplanet.com, but I haven't used them, but I have looked at it and you can get some great discounts if they've got these issues in stock. I subscribed to this late, so the earliest issue I could get on subscription was issue 23, but now I believe it's up to 31, so you'd have to start it quite late. But it's a great way to get some really great cheap miniatures and terrain for Warcry. If you've seen the previous videos I've done on the Mortal Realms, I did an introduction which tells you all about that, and then I've also started opening some of the other packs that I've picked up on Backorder as well. But in this video, we'll get this open, we'll take a look at the contents, and then I'll build the miniatures that come with this issue, and then we'll have a look at them in detail, take some close-up photos, and then you can really see what you get for your money here. Okay, let's open it up. It's quite noisy, so I'll open it, get rid of the wrapping, and then we'll talk about the contents. And here we go, so there's our sprues. So we get two of these small sprues, and then we get the booklet, and you see here that this one is going to contain the Thorns of the Briar Queen sprue set. So if you bought that on its own, that's going to be £15. You may get a discount on it on some places like Element Games, but for even with a 20% discount off that, this is great value at £7.99. So let's take a close look at the sprues, and then we'll flick through the book and see what that contains. And here we are. So you can see these come with the moulded bases, which I really like. And there's tons of detail in there with these roses, broken skulls. They're really great. And it looks like we're going to get 7 miniatures altogether. So we've got 6 of the, looks like 25mm bases. And then one of the larger, maybe 32mm. We'll have to check that later. So they're the bases, really good. And then here's our miniatures. You can see up close. We're getting all that detail. We like the armour underneath with the chain vest there. A nice little touch at the back with the rose and the vines. So there we go, that's our sprue. And then here's the booklet that we get with it. And so these are designed to go in a folder. So they're loosely stuck together, so they come apart really easy on the binding there. But it tells us we're going to get a little bit of information here about the Thorns of the Briar Queen, delve into the cursed halls of the Shade Spire, and then we'll take a look at some of the Steel Heart's champions, the Chronicles of Terror. Then it's going to have our how to build instructions, give us a little bit of information on how to paint them, and then a little playthrough. And these playthroughs and information and background all build up as the kind of issues come out. And it's great just seeing the artwork in here. I mean, these are really good. And it gives us a little bit of background all about the Briar Queen and a little bit of narrative that we can add to it. And this is going to be great having this set to add to our Warband in Warcry. And more details about the individual fighters. And this is going to be great. Once we start introducing these miniatures into our warbands, they can all come with a little bit of narrative here if we want to, a little bit of background, or we can create our own. And now a little bit there, more background and narrative to read. And then the how to build instructions. So these are nice and simple. I mean, this is the main one, the Briar Queen. And it looks like she's only got 3 parts in the base. So these are going to be really quick to put together. And they're push fit, so nice and easy, but I'll be gluing them because you want them to be nice and secure. And I'll probably trim down the little pieces, the little bits that go into the other part there. I'll trim that down just to get a nicer, more flush join, and then glue them together. Here we go, this is our how to paint guide, and this is really great for all of our night haunts. And this Nihilak Oxide, this is one of the things I'm going to use for these for sure, and we can get them painted really quick, I think. I'll use another contrast paint in addition to that for the cloaks, but this is really good. So this gives us nice detailed information on how we can paint them for that effect. And then specifically for our Briar Queen. And it goes over some techniques. So you can see this is really good, much better than the instructions you're going to get in the standard sets. They go into a lot more detail with lots of images. So a real bonus. So you get the cheap sprue and the cheap miniatures, but you also get this real detailed how to paint guide and everything and how to build. So that's really nice. And this is the look they've gone for there. And then we go into Arcane Duels. This is a little playthrough that you can play using some of the miniatures that came out with previous issues. So it all builds on issue upon issue. And then the information for Age of Sigmar, which we won't need. And then on the back of each issue, they just tell you what's going to come out in the next two. So there we go. So I won't be getting these two because I missed out. I mean, I could have ordered them on back order, but for the paint ones, you don't really get any value. You lose a bit of money actually on those. But on these, you certainly benefit when you get miniatures and paint included. So there we go. So that's the booklet that comes with it. So now I'll go and get these built, get some close-up photos, and we'll take a really close look at them. And then hopefully that'll give you an idea of the value you get with buying an issue of the Mortal Realms. And then you can see if you can incorporate that into your Warcry game. And maybe you can start adding these as like heroes and allies. And I'll also take a look at the Bringers of Death Warcry supplement book, and we'll see which fighter cards we can use for the Briar Queen and her followers. So I'll go and do that now, and I'll see you back here in a second with some nice photos. And here we go, here's our Briar Queen, all assembled now, and it's a great looking miniature. I really love it with the thorns and the roses coming shooting out of her. And this sinister looking dude is called Varclav the Cruel, and he's her main henchman. Then we got another guy here called the Everhanged, and he's a chain rasp, and he's the ghost of a mass murderer, and he's still got the rope he was hanged with around his neck. And then we've got 4 more models, and these are all the chain rasps. And so these collection of followers, they're called the Briar Queen's Thorns, which is really great. I love that idea. And the story they've got behind them is really cool, and it's all included in that leaflet that came with the set. So really good depth there of information that we can use to build the narrative for a little warband here. These are going to be perfect to add to our Nighthaunt warband. So let's take a look at the Bringers of Death book, and then we'll check out some of the fighter cards. And she's not going to be in there as she is with her character now, but there's certainly some that we can use instead. So going off her little story here that says she was trapped for centuries in a cell made from shade glass where she slowly was consumed by madness, and she's in there with her followers, her Thorns. And so I really like this idea here of this triple ability, as I imagine they'd be a close-knit group, and so the idea that she could remove damage points for them, so remove up to 1 damage point allocated to each friendly fighter within 6 inches of her, that kind of fits in with that narrative a little bit, and also with the pose of the model and the idea of she's throwing the roses out, these roses like growing from in her, so the idea of her kind of bringing them some extra health, I really like that. And the fighter card that comes with that ability is called Guardian of the Souls, so that really suits her again in her story, and with 2 weapons, one being a ranged weapon as well, that's just perfect. I mean, that's going to signify those roses coming out on the vine with the thorns. So yeah, I think this would be a really good one and a great leader for a warband. So our next miniature is Varclav the Cruel, and it says here that he was once a warden of the prison himself. So looking through the fighter type cards, I thought this would make maybe a Dread Warden, so that would be a good card for him. And then the Everhanged, he's a Chain Rasp, and along with the other miniatures as well, so we could use the standard Chain Rasp card for those too. So this Thorns of the Briar Queen is a great little set, and it's going to be perfect to add to our existing Warcry Nighthaunt warband, because although you get tons of cool fighters in there, you don't get any chain rasps. So having these 4 or 5 chain rasps and some extra heroes or allies that we can use is really good. And I think for the price we paid here is great, but I'd even be happy with paying the full £15 for these. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Which fighter cards would you use for each of these miniatures? And maybe you've played them already and included them in your own warband. So it'd be great to hear from you. I'll put links to the Mortal Realms website below and also to where I got it from Hatchet Partworks. I'll also put that link to Forbidden Planet, so although I haven't used them, it's definitely worth checking out and see if they've got them in stock, because I think you'll get a good discount there. Otherwise, if you were to purchase the Thorns of the Briar Queen separately, maybe try Element Games, you could get up to 20% off there, or certainly Games Workshop may still have it in stock. But I think this is quite an old set that came out with Underworlds, so it might be difficult to get hold of, I'm not sure. So I hope this video is helpful and gives you a good idea of what you're going to get and how you can use them in your own Warcry warband. Thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.